Hello everybody, my name is Daulton Nelson, and today I'd like to give my thoughts on a game I just beat, that game being Mega Man 3 for the PS4. Mega Man 3 was developed and published by Capcom, and after liking the very first two Mega Mans, I was really anticipating Mega Man 3, but I ended up not liking it that much at all. The smart level designs, fun weapons, great pacing, stability, and the nice story within Mega Man 2 are all gone within this game. A lot of my time playing this game was spent either being angry at the game, or sighing, or groaning at what was going on the screen. According to Keiji Inafune, a designer who has worked on most of the Mega Man games, and is the creator of Mighty No. 9, commented that this game's development was very stressful, it was rushed, and that the new designer that was put onto this project had no idea what he was doing with the project, and I think it definitely shows here. And one way I think that this shows is the obviously worse level designs. I can't think of a single level that I liked within this game. In fact, I can name one thing from each of the initial 8 levels that I disliked. For example, the Tadpole Eggs and Gemini Man stage that slowed the game to a halt, or the Protruding Needles and Needle Man stage, to the Trash Chutes and Spark Man stage, to the turbines that suck you in, combined with these appearing blocks in Magnet Man stage, to the bees in Hard Man stage, to the spinning top platforms in Top Man stage, to the platforms that come out of the stacks coupled with the cloud enemies in Snake Man stage, to the unreachable bulb robots within Shadow Man stage. The level selection this time around felt less like I was picking a stage that I wanted to play, and more like I was picking my poison. I was never looking forward to what the next stage had to offer, because the one that I was in currently kept torturing me and introducing these mechanics that just made me angry or sigh. There's really nothing great about the mechanics within any of these stages. Now, coupled with the stages within Mega Man 3, you have some really uncreative or bad weapons here that you're given. For example, the Shadow Blades, which are just a copy of the Metal Blade from Mega Man 2, to the Gemini Laser, where if you miss, it bounces around the entire stage, but you can't shoot another one until that one disappears, to the Search Snakes, which also kind of work the same way, where you can only shoot 3, and you have to wait until they all disappear before you shoot more. They're also very similar to Bubble Man's weapon in Mega Man 2. Not to mention the uncreative Spark Shot that doesn't really do anything. It's one of the most bland weapons I've seen in a Mega Man game. But by far the worst weapon within this game is the Top Spin, which has such a small room to actually hit something that I always took damage whenever I tried to use it. It'd be very lucky if I ever actually dealt damage to something. Now, Mega Man 3 took me a little bit longer to beat, but this is not because of its difficulty, I would say. In fact, it has to do with some padding that they put in this game in the form of these robots called Dock Robots, where once you beat the initial 8 robots within the game, instead of getting access to the Wily stages right away, you instead have to go through 4 more stages to fight these robots that have the same mechanics that the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2 had, and then you have to sit there and guess what their weakness is. This does not add anything to the game at all. They're just trying to lengthen out the game at this point. Now, in addition to these worse levels, worse weapons, and worse game flow, you have some real instability here within Mega Man 3. There is some extreme slowdown that can eat your inputs. And it doesn't take a lot for there to be slowdown in Mega Man 3. I'd say if there are about more than 3 enemies on the screen, you're going to slow down. This is a huge downgrade from Mega Man 2, which seemed to have no slowdown whatsoever. The sprite flickering is also pretty bad in this game, where even the main menu suffers from it. As soon as you start up the game, there will be 3 rows that slide into each other to create the main menu, but the bottom third creates a visual glitch, and you can see it happen, and it just appears all over this game. There were also a couple of smaller things that really got on my nerves, like the random tanks that would be put throughout the game. They weren't randomly placed, it's random what you get from them. That's real nice to guess and see if my effort is even going to be worth it to get these. You also have this attempted narrative where they try to tell a story, and something about all the Robot Masters being part of a mine, and Mega Man's brother, and something about a Gamma, but they never really say anything or have a really cool opening cutscene like they do in Mega Man 2. It all feels really disjointed. I also hated the choice of two of the robot masters in this game, Top Man and Snake Man. These are really silly. I'm pretty sure that you could have chosen different objects for these robots to be based off of. Like Top Man could have easily been Drill Man, and I'm sure Snake Man could have had a nice replacement as well. There are also black backgrounds behind some of the ladders here, despite some of the other ladders in the game having some transparency to them so you can see the actual color that's supposed to be there instead of just this black, very bad looking background. As well as there would be some black corners on some tiles, especially if it was trying to convey something round, like the snaky pipes within Snake Man stage. You would just see like black corners. This is a downgrade from the visuals within Mega Man 2, which were really clean looking. Finally, I hate some of the enemy AI that they put in this game. They're like the apes or the bees that will like get close to Mega Man and just stay close and never really give him a breather. Despite the Mega Man series' emphasis on shooting, you'd think that the player would be given a chance to attack them from a range, but here they just suffocate you, and it makes you take a lot more damage than you need to. Now, there were two things that I liked from this game, one being the music. Mega Man 3 has a really good soundtrack, as well as some of the stages had some great designs to them visually. For example, Gemini Man stage, Top Man stage, and Snake Man stage. They all looked great aesthetically. But overall, there's not much that can really save this game for me. I really didn't enjoy playing through it. I'm going to give it a final score of a 3 out of 10. If you're playing through the Mega Man franchise for the first time like I am, I would recommend that you would play a little bit of this game and then skip it, because Mega Man 3 is just not an enjoyable time. So that concludes my review for Mega Man 3. If you like my reviews, you can like, comment, or subscribe. I also have social media links down in the description below, as well as my Portfolum, so you can see game design works that I've done. And with that out of the way, please make sure to have a nice day.